Hi everybody, I guess I'm back. Yeah, I can see myself. All right. So I thought I'd do something a little different today, but don't worry, you're gonna get your daily coverage. I just want to talk about the highlights of this trial so far because we're on day 14, so a lot has happened in 14 days. Um, Now, granted, it might not seem like a lot because there've been a couple days, like there's 2 days a week where it's short report days, so but there's still been a lot of spice and oh my god moments and did they really say that? Okay, let's start from the start. Opening statements. Um, and some other stuff I learned that I never would have learned had it not been in Boston. Okay. Apparently, it's called the Commonwealth, and also the bailiff um says hear ye" every morning. Um, so those are interesting. Okay, opening statements. Well, and I talked about this when it happened because I was just like, wow, okay, what? I'm confused here. Because they said, let's go back to Thomas or John Adams. Okay, now for all the young people out there, John Adams was a president of the United States. However, if you don't remember the order, don't feel too bad. I don't either. So I felt completely disconnected from this trial even before it started, which is not a good thing because I try to consider myself a jury member and I like a story. I like for the lawyer, whoever they are, be it the prosecutor or the other lawyer, to tell me a story and tell me that this is where we're going to start and this is where we're going to end. Okay? If that doesn't happen, I am confused. And then I'm left the entirety of the trial trying to find out what's going on here. Okay. Let's talk about some highlights, lowlights, if you will. All right. Well, the prosecuting attorney is called, his name is spelled Lally, Lally, but everyone says Lolly. So it just depends how you pronounce. Okay, well, uh, I, it's not, okay, clarification, disclaimer, whatever. It's not that I just dislike all prosecuting attorneys. However, when they straight up lie or fudge information and I can see it and you're downplaying to me, I don't appreciate it because I'm pretty intelligent. And for you to question my intelligence, not a good look. Um, and also, okay, let's talk about some weird moments now. Weird. Um, and, and this happened in 14 days. Um, the evidence was collected from the scene in a red solo cups and another evidence collection strategy was stop and shop bags. Okay, how do I know that? Because there are pictures of how the evidence was collected in red solo cups, 6, and grocery bags. They were put in grocery bags. And, okay, before you say, wow, that's interesting, yes, but also, is that correct? No, no, because the next day we were shown how evidence is supposed to be collected. Okay, It's supposed to be collected in certain containers, obviously. But also, on top of that, there's this red evidence tape. And when I say red, I mean red. Like fire engine, candy apple, red. Okay? And the point is, it seals up the evidence so it can't be contaminated. But also, here's a lovely another feature of the red tape. Usually, whoever was the last person to touch said evidence puts their initials on the red tape. And then when it's taken off or opened up, you're supposed to cut the tape a certain way as to not disturb the evidence. Was any of this done? No. No. Okay. When the veterinary tech, what the UC Davis veterinary tech, Terry, was on the stand, and they said, oh, it was collected in solo cups. She said, excuse me, what? She literally said that, and her face did what my face did. Well, I mean, not exactly, but close. Okay, another interesting thing. I have never heard about snow so much as in this trial. And I've never heard so many people argue about how much snow there was on the ground. Okay, we've gotten anything from is a light dusting. And okay, I have to put this in context for one hot minute. All right, I live in Georgia. Georgia, the state next to Florida, meaning we hardly ever get any snow. So when we get a dusting, it truly is a dusting, and it stops everything because remember Snowpocalypse a couple of years ago? Remember that? Okay, I was in college and they thought it was going to be a light dusting like it always is. Well, they were wrong, and it shut everything down for a good week. Why do I remember this? Because I was in college, and therefore I was trapped in my dorm for around 8 days. hmm Yeah. So now when we get a dusting, everything is closed, shut down. And a dusting is literally like maybe some snowflakes on the ground for a couple hours, maybe, and then the sun melts it off. That's what we consider a dusting here. Okay, so their amounts of snow completely vary from a light dusting to 4 to 6 inches of snow. Okay, now I just told you I don't get snow. However, I have friends in New York and had friends in New York, New Jersey, Boston at one point. I have friends where it snows. 6 inches is quite a bit of snow. And they don't stop everything because they have the lovely softer trucks that go up and down the roads. So at the first hit of anything, the salt goes down so that businesses don't have to stop. Okay, I know this. Yeah. Okay, that's number one. Number two, uh, when let's see, what was her name? Um, the Jenny. No, wait a second. It was like Julianne or Julie Nagel. Okay, I call them Bagel just to be funny, but so I remember the name because also somebody spelled it like I don't know how you're supposed to spell it, so that's why I was saying bagel at first, but it's actually Nagle. So it's not actually, whatever. Okay, the reason I remember her, well, the reason I remember and forget her, kind of, is because her name is like two first names, and so I get confused about if it's Julie or Julianne. Okay, but it's Julie. Um, okay, second reason why I remember her is because she's the first person to mention uh, she noticed a black blob in the ground. She meant to say, I think, on the ground, but she said in the ground. Okay, why is this significant? Because, let me go back. The whole reason we're having this case is because John O'Keefe, a police officer, Boston police officer, was supposedly hit by Karen Reed in her car and left to unalive in the snow. Okay. Why somebody, how one or more people did not see anything on the lawn is beyond me. And why somebody didn't call 911 like immediately, another thing beyond me. I don't know. Because let me tell you something. If something happens in my yard, in my house, I'm the first one to call 911 and say, officer, you might want to get out here, over here, because something funky's going on. That's just me. Um, all right. So let's go into day 13. I know it's day 14, but go with me here. Okay. So, because we're talking about weird stuff going on in this trial. Another weird moment. Day 13. Colin Albert, one of the many Alberts in this case. Seems like everybody's either friends or related, and I'm not joking. Okay, so Colin Albert. He somehow, well, let's see. Well, number one, he's got the worst memory on the planet. Number two, somehow he mysteriously got marks all over his knuckles, like red marks. Like, you know how when you, well, not that I know, but if you fight and you get marks on your knuckles, it looks like that. And what I'm saying is, in the picture, it's clearly evident that something's going on with the knuckles. So he says, I don't know. This was his defense. This was his defense. Well, I don't know. I tripped and fell, and I couldn't save myself, so I dragged my knuckles on the ground. Okay. Well, got two problems with that. Uh, First of all, he didn't know if he ever boxed, and then he said that he wasn't sparring with somebody. Then he said he was sparring with somebody. Then he said, "Oh well, I don't consider that like uh." There were some other remarks he made that weren't derogatory exactly, but I mean they were kind of like I would consider them maybe fighting words, and so yeah, and he seems to be a hot tempered like okay like he could be perfectly fine like now, zen, whatever. And within a minute, he could have a temper and want to fight somebody. So, yeah. uh, okay. Oh, let's see. That was kind of odd. And also, um, he didn't want to talk about it. Oh, that's another thing. And, and it's not just him. I'm not trying to beat up. Sorry, I'm not trying to pick on him. Okay, but all these witnesses um, are trying like anything to distance themselves from Karen Reed. The most notable, besides Colin Albert, not that he distanced himself from Karen Reed, but he distanced himself from the factoids in his own life, Okay, but Brian Albert Sr., oh man, he is a character and a half. Okay, um, Okay, and to orient you guys with who I'm talking about, he's married to Nicole Albert. So, okay. Um, there's two things about him, and they're both kind of funny, and you'll understand why. Okay, so apparently he is the king of the butt dial. Okay, for anyone not familiar with the butt dial, it happens when usually say okay for a guy, just guys, for a second. Say you got your phone in your pocket, right? And you sit down or something, or somehow you move the phone, but you don't take it out of your pocket. Sometimes you might butt dial somebody. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, the reason why this is funny is because I'm just like sometimes I turn into a 12-year-old, and when you say certain words, I start giggling. I can't help it. Oh, okay, but he tried to distance himself from that, and yeah, that didn't go too well. And then also, he's trying to distance himself from Karen Reed altogether because, well, there have been some competing theories on that one, but I think it's because he's married to Nicole Albert, and she seems like the kind of woman that wouldn't even tolerate him talking to another person. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but his I don't know, his trying to distance himself and trying to say, "Oh no, I didn't even talk to her. I didn't even talk to her," makes it look like really sus. Though it wouldn't look like that if he would just say, "Yeah, we talked for 5 minutes about so and so and so and so," you know. Yeah, I don't know. But then again, I could put a whole veil over this whole thing and say the whole thing is sus. So who knows? Okay. Okay, we're on to day 14. That's today. Alright. So, we're on to the McCabe's. And McCabe is spelled McCabe. Okay? Matthew and Jen, they're married. And they also talked to Allie McCabe, their daughter, before. Okay? But I'm not talking about her right now. I want to talk about the parents because I want to talk about sus behavior for a minute here. Alright? Okay. So Matt McCabe. This man has, let's see, memory problems, uh, sight problems, and maybe hearing problems too. Uh, Sight problems because no lie, he couldn't see the print of the text on the paper, so they had to literally give him his cell phone so he could use a flashlight to see. Number one. Okay, number two. He just didn't answer any questions, like not really, and he looked like he was utterly confused most of the time. His wife Jennifer, but everybody calls her Jen, I guess. Um, was a little bit better, but I don't know. Uh, she just I just see a distancing problem with a lot of people, and I don't know if it leaves me okay. The backing away from everything I just said, I'm gonna give you my initial impressions. Um, Not knowing anything, not knowing if they have anything to hide, not knowing if they've come up with a plan or anything like that. Their behavior on its face is very dis disrespectful. Oh yeah, because also Matt McCabe in one of the many text messages, he said the guy never moved into the house. Okay, the guy they're referring to is Officer John O'Keefe. Now, the reason why this hits me under the collar or whatever so bad is because he is the victim in all this. Okay? The least I could do is show him some respect and call him an officer or at least John O'Keefe or something. Not the guy. The guy, it's like I equate it to people who, when they refer to their children, like the boy or the girl, or, I mean, yeah, I guess they're denoting who they're talking about, but really, you can't even use a name. You don't even care about somebody that much. They can't use a name. That just, that irked me. Um, so yeah, I guess I gave you 13 and 14 anyway. But yeah, those are my highlights for the trial so far. And just to let you guys know, obviously, we're not having any trial over the weekend. So the next day is Monday, and it's going to be a full day. So be prepared. And I promise my video won't be this long, but it'll probably be 9 or 10 minutes because, yeah, I just get a lot of material from the trial every day. I do. Um, I just usually don't analyze it so much, but I will because I like to think about these things and I don't like to take them just at face value. I mean, I do when I see the trial the first time, but after a while I think about it and I try to go deeper with the context if I can, you know. So, all right, I guess.